Hey, I'm Jay.
I'm Steve, and we're half a Kodaline, and this is we've got a few crazy stories.
We went to the airport well in advance, as we thought, and went to check in our 30 or so bags that we have to bring with us every time. And the airline just couldn't deal with us. They went one by one, and by the time it was our last two bags, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not actually going to make your flight." And we had to march. We had to run, I'd say about 2 miles of tunnels through an airport just to get to the plane. And then myself and Vinny were the front of the queue. We got there and they started closing the doors. And Steve, Mark, and Lewis, our tour manager, still weren't there. And we came very early.
We were 2 hours.
2 hours early, 3 hours early. We were like, we have to get to LA. We're about to fly back to the UK. We can't miss this flight. And we just about got there, and out of all our bags, Steve and Mark's just didn't show up. So we came from Arctic conditions.
Yeah, I was still I arrived in LA, and it was so hot and so warm, and then all I had was a big winter jacket and a big thick jumper and a big.
You weren't even wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, I had a jumper on, and I had no bag, and I had no other change of clothes. We've had moments where we've lost band members. I mean, particularly our drummer. We've lost him a few times. Left him at a truck stop on the last tour, and
forgot what the truck stop looked like.
All the truck stops over here look the same, so it took us like an hour to. Actually, it took us 40 minutes to realise he wasn't on the bus first. I don't know how, because, you know what I mean?
It's not that many of us.
Not many of it, you know.
He had to email people in England to ring us on the bus because his phone wouldn't work.
Yeah, because it's an Irish phone. And then it was like, oh, our tour manager turned around and was like, oh, are you missing something? And the first thing I went looking for was my passport, because I was like, oh, did I miss my passport? And he was like, you're a drummer. The drummer was gone, but then it took us about 50 minutes to find the actual truck stop, but we found him. Jay lost his passport before, and we were in New York, and we were all flying back to London, and we couldn't do anything about it, but we had to go to London, so Jay just had to stay here.
Just had to stay in New York.
Then we all felt bad leaving him in the airport. We're like, oh man, this is terrible. And then when we got home, back to the UK, Jay just started sending photos of pictures all around New York. He was having his own little holiday. So he lost his passport, but he just turned it into a 4-day holiday in New York on his own, and we were back in London.
I made friends with the squirrel.